Hello, I'm back. The wheel is out of proportion. We're back to normal. How we doing? How we doing? I have returned. I have returned. What's this?
What happened to the music?
I don't. Was there not music?
Not anymore, no.
Oh no. Hang on. Let me check something really quickly. Let me check something really quickly.
Yeah, baby.
Does it work? It looks like we're looking at The Simpsons first here on Write a Doctor Who from Scratch. How are we all doing today on this wonderful day? Let's look at The Simpsons. Oh, new stuff. I'll look at new stuff, yes. I will look at new stuff. I took a week off and it was very nice. I enjoyed it a lot. Watched lots of movies. It was nice. It was nice to get a break from it all.
Yeah, no, it's not me. It's music. There's no music.
There's music. Hang on.
I can't.
How about now? Seriously loud. Now it's back to normal again.
Yeah. I heard it then. Really loud.
That proves that it's there though. Oof. It does
I
prove.
don't know. It's weird.
How am I doing at Orientalism? Exactly. What, am I turning the music up really loud? It's a new one. Would make Ian burst a blood vessel. What did I do? Alright, let's start. Let's actually go onto the Simpsons page. Alright. Okay, The Simpsons would make Ian burst. What was playing? What music was playing? Because I can't hear it.
It was just the regular music. I don't know.
Okay.
But like, it's really low right now. I can't hear it.
Oh, is it too low right now? Hang on, is that better? Why is Bart Simpson here? Okay, I need to fix that. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. Beautiful.
Okay, bye.
Okay. The Simpsons was a cartoon television program from the 20th century, and his enviropodule, Martin and Trix McMillan drank tea from Simpsons mugs. Several specimens of the construct, known as cuddlesomes, could be heard to use catchphrases like "Ay caramba" and "Eat my shorts." Whilst outside the railway station giving away tickets for the museum, Odd Bob received an insult from one kid saying, "Take a hike, Krusty." According to Julia Franklin, The Simpsons had an Indian character. Several Simpsons VHSs were available at a Cardiff video store in the 2000s. Two Martian colonies established a 23rd century, perhaps by coincidence, were named Springfield and neighboured Shelbyville. Add 1984. I will add 1984. Alright. Okay. Let's see. At Ood operations in 4126, there were various settings for the way Ood could speak, including Doe, Sam Jones said doe as well in her case when confronted by a vampire. Someone resembling Bart Simpson attended Bon Jackson's birthday party in Marathia. Another Bart Simpson lookalike was eaten by the Magellan Hyperkraken on Enormous Storage Co. When asked by her new teacher, Mr. Selby, who her role model was, Sam Jones replied, Lisa Simpson. What a fucking prick. Has anyone read that Twitter thread about how Lisa Simpson is a horrible person? Personally, pop culture references should be subject to Occam's razor. Most writers don't intend to imply The Simpsons as part of the GWU. Alright, let's see. Elon Musk is possibly the greatest living inventor. That is a thing that Lisa Simpson said, yes. Elaborate. I don't remember the details and I'm not going to inaccurately sum it up. I can't remember off the top of my head the exact details. I just remember reading it and thinking it was funny. Author of the Harry Potter book. Alright. Let's go back to the wheel. Hi Silas, what are you mad about? I see you're coming in with angry faces. What's up? Hi Mr. M Works. Very happy to see you. Very happy to see you. We're doing another spin though, I believe.
Yeah, baby.
This is why I need some Ryan goodness. I am feeling a little feisty today. You know already. You already know. Oh no! Is this Jeff-related blues? Do you have the Jeffy blues, Silas? Is that what's going on? Is that what's going on right now? What is dodge the you and dodge the man traps? Jeff's in the trenches. Well, dude, keep fighting. And remember, you only need a 40% win rate to climb. So as long as you just keep playing matches and play your best every time, you will eventually climb. Or just learn Rocket. And then whenever you're getting dove on, just switch to Rocket. And then you don't get dove on and you can turn the game into Dead by Daylight. It's fun. I like doing it. I like looping Spider-Mans. It's good. Anyway, I think the case for Mabel from Gravity Falls being a bad person is also quite strong. Yeah, I've never seen Gravity Falls. But maybe. Jeff doesn't switch. I know. But the thing is, if you don't switch and you're getting hard countered by the other team, that's fine. But know that it's on you. And know that you can be the change that you want to see in the world. Nah, stay on Jeff. Fuck those people. Just stay on Jeff and keep climbing at Jeff. And like the people who like hard focus you, just like learn how to counter them specifically, and you'll be fine. You literally don't need to switch. It's fine. All right. By the way, I'm streaming Rivals tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, but today I'm doing FF7 Remake on Mild Magic, so you should all probably come in and jump and join me for some Cloud Strife related goodness and such. Dodge the Man Traps is a game from a DW annual and has, by hint of being connected to Dot and Bubble, has weird racist connotations. I got ya. Also, Lies of P, when? That's a good question. Well, I have so much other shit on my list, Silas. Because, like, next week, I'm not even doing Rivals. Next week, I'm doing, we got on the Monday, we got Baldur's Dates. And then on the Tuesday, we got Feast Takeover. And then on Wednesday, I'm doing FF7 Remake. And then on Thursday, I'm doing an as yet unnamed Assassin's Creed game. Because people have requested for me to do an Assassin's Creed game. So I'm going to do one. So yeah, there's a lot. Play all the games. I really wish I could. Sounds like Friday Rivals. You know what? If I'm not busy, maybe. Maybe. Because I know that it's the most popular game in the Discord. I know that a good chunk of my community is mainly here for it, and I enjoy it. So yeah, very possibly Friday Rivals next week. Okay. Oh dear. Right, where were we? I was reading this, right? I was reading this. I agree with any Ryan stream is peak. Thank you. I'm glad that you're a true believer. I have to say, I really want to do a stream soon where I go into Marvel Rivals and I go into voice chat as Captain America, and I'm like, hey, I just woke up from the 1940s and I want to try one of these new Fraggle video games. I want to do that. Hey there, you're kind of raging out. It looks like you might need some 1940s medical doctor approved cocaine. Yes, cocaine, the wonder drug that can turn any person into a Superman. Cocaine. Captain America stream, you know you need it. You know you need it. Anyway. A character stream would be fun, and I already kind of do that on the Baldur's dates. On the Baldur's dates, Mr. Remworks, I do like roleplay as my wonderful halfling bard Figaro. I think Skylar from Breaking Bad is fine. She's just a tired mom who has a difficult life, and her husband's a piece of shit. I've never understood why people hate her so much, apart from obviously like misogyny and shit. And I love Clara and Missy, both women villains. Oh dear. Alright, let's have a look. When man traps were on the loose in fine time, you couldn't see them as your head was in a bubble, requiring you to rely on the power of chance to survive. Ooh, your bubble may have shown you a bad mem. You may later have followed a shorter path. If you didn't or returned, your bubble may have blocked your sight. That's another point. You may have again followed a shorter path. You may have encountered a man trap requiring you to run. Yet again, you may have followed another path. Later, Ricky may have helped you escape to the conduit of your last name starting with R. You may have had to move ahead, and you may have been eaten by a man trap. Again, you may have followed to another shorter path. You may later have gotten onto a boat at a fine time with Lindy. Apparently a bad decision. If not, your doc may have run out of charge. You may then have encountered the doctor trying to say those people whose last names began with N. Why N? That's pretty weird. You may have later have followed a path going the wrong way. Finally, you may have made it to the exit. Game! Dodge the man traps! Did you like that description? I was very proud of that. Well, I had fun, and that's what matters. Venom, clip that. I'm not playing fucking Dodge the Man Traps. You know what I'll play? If you can find it and get it to work for me, you know what I'll play? And I'll play it on the channel. That old 2005 Flash game where you play as the Dalek escaping from the Van Staten library. I'll play that to completion. I'll stream that on the YouTube channel. If you can find me that in good nick, then do it. You just got an ad for bags. Cha-ching. I think it exists and is around. Do you? Do you? Wow, that's incredible. I guess that makes finding it and giving it to me way easier. Hey. 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 All right, let's go again. Let's spin the wheel again. The premise of the fucking show.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, baby. fandom-filled John Mayer short story. It's nothing! Nothing! You gave me nothing! And you should be fucking ashamed of yourselves. No, I don't know what it is. But we'll just spin the wheel again, it's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah, baby.
This is also from Jenny Roulette. The 2028 Summer Olympics. Tomorrow is every Jenny Everywhere Day if you forgot. I did not forget. I didn't know. And that's very different. Okay. Where is the wheel not popping up? Wheel, where are you? Alan! Alan's fucking gone. Where the fuck did Alan go? There he is. He's had enough. He's had enough of your shit, guys. There he is. Eventually the wheel will dry up and we'll have to find more wheels. New pastures to turn into capitalist hellscapes to pillage. I mean, just Twitch, honestly. Like, if I was ever to quit this for any reason, I would just do more Twitch streams, to be honest. It would be fine. For me. You guys would be devastated, but I'd be fine. And that, at the end of the day, is what really matters. Let's see. While generating heat in the star shed with a space bicycle, creating far more heat than Doctor or patients had wanted, Kate Shortman informed them that as an Olympic athlete, she couldn't stop once she put her mind to something, going on to suggest that she continue cycling for 4 years until the next Olympics. So it is written we would follow you to Discord. I know you would follow me to Discord. It's fine, Mr. M Works. Alright, let's pop this one in. Let's do another one of these bad Larrys.
Yeah, baby.
And the Twitch. One thing I do want to do, and I kind of had this moment of clarity during my week off, I do want to move my schedule around a little bit, because, like, what I was doing, like, was killing me, and I need to figure it out, basically, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Let's see. A monkey wearing a blue hat was the oh, fuck. A monkey wearing a blue hat was the mascot for Kellogg's Cocoa Pops Moon and Stars cereal. Fantastic. I remember Coco the monkey. Mr. M Works. Are you in the Wild Magic server, Mr. M Works? Of course you be. Of course you are. Of course you are. Oh, good. I meant to write we would follow you to Twitch. I know you would follow me to Twitch. I have no doubts of that. I have no doubts of that. Alright. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look here. Did you guys see the new thing for the war between the land and sea, by the way? Doesn't it look fucking mid? Doesn't it look fucking mid? Like, pretty Sea Devil is a straight Russell Tovey. Just looks great. Great. Can't wait for Pete McTeague to deliver another masterclass.
Yeah, baby.
What are the boo-boos? The restaurant from Rose. The war between the land and sea trailer. No. Because every time I do that, I get demonetized. No. We've done this page? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Alright, let's see. Oh. Ryan, have you had thoughts on Years and Years? I haven't seen it. No idea. But Sonic, how did they catch you? I don't know. Ah! Ooh. Ooh, I don't like that. Don't worry about me, I'm alright. I just had like a weird like spike of pain in my ear. I'm not sure what that was. Recreate the war between the land and sea using Marvel Rivals. That would be good. That would be good. You could recreate scenes from the show using Jeff. Isn't that just Black Panther 2? What? What, the war between the land and sea? Jeff is the sea devil. He is. He is. He is. I love Jeff. I love Jeff so much. Silas, never switch off Jeff. Okay, let's see. Let's spin the wheel again. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, baby.
Eggnog! We've done this, haven't we? Have we done eggnog? I'm pretty sure we've done eggnog. I am fairly confident that we've done eggnog. Sounds familiar. It does sound familiar. Well, I'll just do it because it takes like a second. Okay, eggnog was a drink associated with Christmas. The second Doctor tried to order eggnog for himself, Ben Jackson and Polly Wright at the White Rabbit in 17th century London, but they were told it wasn't available as Cromwell had forgiven the celebration at Christmas. What? Advertisement for eggnog was seen in Montgomery in 1955. Did eggnog exist back then? Like, during the English Civil War times? Feels like that's not accurate. Oh, wait, no, because time had been fucked with. Got it, because that wasn't the 17th fucking century. Jesus, I'm so dumb. Okay. I'm looking up, when was eggnog invented? Fuck the show. I want to know this now. I don't believe in people. He has a character come out as transhuman. Are you talking about Years and Years? Because that sounds like something Russell would do.
Yeah, baby.
TikTok! TikTok! For the TikTok of the TikTok. Do you know I don't have a TikTok, and I've never had a TikTok, and I will never have a TikTok? That's a fun fact about me. It rots your brain, or so I've been told. Alright. Tickety Tockety was a social media platform used in the 21st century according to St. John Cole Chichester. It had incisive political commentary and cracking recipes. Cleo Proctor compared moving her bound arms from behind to in front of her to being in the Cirque du Soleil and learned how to do so on TikTok. Sean Thompson claimed to have only seen conspiracy theories and fruit loaf recipes on the platform. The 15th Doctor jokingly blamed TikTok for the Sleekers' plan to take over the Earth via Wade. Sting of the Sasquatch. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, I need to read about this now, I'm sorry. So, for those of you who don't know, I am a really big Squatch guy. I'm really into the Sasquatch stuff. And the idea of Doctor Who doing a Sasquatch story scares me. Because Sasquatch as a concept is extremely rooted in, even if you don't consider them real, which I do, but even if you don't consider them real, they're a concept that's deeply rooted in native folklore and culture, and how you portray them is very important. And whether you want to look at it from like a respecting indigenous cultures perspective, or you want to look at it from a conservationist perspective, because like if Sasquatch are real, they're an endangered species and we need to protect them, you have to be really responsible when you're doing a Sasquatch story, in my humble opinion, as a Squatch guy. So, I'm really interested to see how Doctor Who handled it. Alright. Sting of the Sasquatch was an audiobook in the audio originals range from BBC Audio, featuring the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday, written by Darren Jones, released on 7th of November 2024. Okay. A brand new adventure featuring the 15th Doctor and Ruby, as played on TV by Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson. A full throttle adventure in America, as the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday, as played on TV by Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson. In a national park in Northwest America, the Doctor and Ruby are pursued by large ape-like creatures who seem to literally disappear into the trees. When Ruby falls ill after apparently being stung, the Doctor believes the infection is extraterrestrial in origin. They meet Dixie and Greg, two Bigfoot hunters determined to track down the mythical Sasquatch. Standing in their way is Ranger Peon, who's adamant that the forest is too dangerous to explore. Dozens of people have vanished or reappeared with no memory in the last month alone. Then the ape creatures kidnap Ruby, and the Doctor is determined to both save her life and solve the mystery of the Sasquatch. Genesis Linnea, who played Harriet Arbinger in the BBC TV series, reads this tense and dramatic original story by Darren Jones. Okay. The Doctor and Ruby have recently been to a pink ice planet. In order to protect his trainers from mud, the Doctor changes into hiking boots. The Doctor's jacket is described as... This is all useless to me. Hang on. Okay, the Sasquatch have developed a method of teleportation called arboportation, so like teleporting using trees. Okay. There are basically no details about the Squatches in this, and now I'm disappointed. Is there a Sasquatch page? There is? Oh, so I guess Doctor Who goes with the Sasquatch are interdimensional beings interpretation of what a Sasquatch is. So there's a lot of people who believe that the reason that Sasquatch has never been like captured or killed, and they've never brought a body in to be analyzed by scientists, is because Sasquatch can turn trees into interdimensional portals and then walk through the portals, basically. And that's why, because they're not actually ape creatures, they're interdimensional beings. Now, I don't believe this. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. But it seems to be the interpretation that Doctor Who has gone through. Would that be the same theory for Nessie, but with water? Yeah, like wormholes and shit. That sounds silly. Doesn't it sound like silly? Doesn't that sound silly? What I believe, Xavier, is that Sasquatches are hominids, they're not apes, and the reason that we can't find them is because they're adapted to live in that fucking environment. And because they're adapted to live in that environment, they're much better at being in the woods than we are. And like, in a forest, the soil is extremely acidic, so you don't actually have a lot of like forest animals on the fossil record anyway. Like, the bones would just be taken care of by the environment. That's my personal theory on what a Sasquatch is. I just think they're like humans, basically. They're just like an offshoot of humanity. I don't think they're apes. I don't think they're interdimensional beings. I don't think they're aliens. I don't think Nessie exists. I straight up don't believe that Nessie exists. I don't believe that Mothman exists. I think that was just an owl. If I saw humanity, I would also note right back into the forest. Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. And like, some of the evidence that we have gotten that aligns with other evidence suggests that they have a verbal language. And if they're advanced enough to have a verbal language, they're definitely smart enough to know, hey, these weird pink apes, stay away from them. I'm on the fence about Nessie, but the Kraken, I believe, does exist 200%. I believe in the Kraken as well. I think that there's big stuff down there in the abyss. Absolutely, Xavier. The Kraken is just a very big squid, and we have found very big squids. Yeah, exactly. Like, the Chupacabra, for example. Like, the Chupacabra does exist, but it doesn't exist in the, Right, so with Chupacabra, there's actually two different kinds. There's the Mexican kind and the Texan kind. And, one of them is interpreted as looking kind of like a grey alien and having like spines on its back and like it can fly and it has all this outlandish shit. And the other one, the accurate one, is a coyote that has a skin disease. And we found coyotes with that skin disease. We found chupacabras. They're real. They're just fucking dogs. Like, I take credibility in the cryptids that are just mundane animals. Yeah, mange, exactly. It's just a dog with mange. Yes. Yes, it exists. No, it's not some weird species. Poor doggo indeed. It seems like it's a horrible existence, to be honest. It's about a goatman. Goatmans are cool. I don't think they're real, but they're cool. I really like goatmans. Goatmen are such a cool cryptid. For those who don't know, goatmen are like supernatural, explicitly supernatural cryptids, and the idea is that they're like demons, basically. They're like demon creatures that stalk the woods and can like possess you and mess with you and stuff. They're cool. They're cool. I like cryptids. I'm big into cryptozoology. Some of them I do think there's credence for saying that they're real creatures. Some of them we've literally like got very good evidence of them existing. The orang pendek in, I think it's Indonesia. The orang pendek is 100% a real animal. 100%. I was actually doing a different take on it immediately. That's fine. I'm all for weird creative takes on cryptids. Don't buy Sasquatch though. The Pacific Northwest isn't that isolated. It's less about them it being that isolated and more about them being that smart. I love their stories. What do you think about the Jersey Devil? I don't think it's real, but I think it's a really cool ghost story. I think it's a super cool ghost story. It's very gothic. Doesn't exist, but it's very gothic. Right, let's take a look. Alright, we're still on the Sasquatch page. Alright, I'll go back to the wheel. I'm still going to talk about Sasquatch, but I'm going to go back to the wheel.
Yeah, baby.
China? I dread to think what the Tardis Wiki has to say about China. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Let's see. Except the ways in which we look for them are literally just not native to their environment, so they need to be smarter than humans generally, not smarter in a way related to forests. Fucking maybe they are. Maybe they are. This can only be good. Seriously hoping this is actually factual and not full of offensive stuff. I mean, some cryptids are pretty evidently real, e.g. animal but big. Yes. New Who, China stuff should be fine. Everything before, probably not. There is one episode of John Pertwee's Who that has a Chinese guest star, and it actually does very fairly portray China. It's the only one I can think of. Alright. Let's see. China, also known as Zhongguo, the Middle Kingdom, and officially known as the People's Republic of China, was the oldest and most populous nation on Earth by the 20th century. It was located on the continent of Asia. Its capital city was Beijing, also known as Peking. Cities in China included Fuzhou, Hangzhou, Nanjing, Ningbo, Shanghai, Qinyang, and Wenzhou. Tai Lake was also located there. Yunnan and Gansu were provinces of China. The Chinese free striped box turtle lived in China as well as Vietnam prior to its extinction in 2062. Many languages were spoken in China, such as Mandarin, which was the most prominent language on Earth in the 21st century. Other dialects included Cantonese, Hokkien, Manchu, and Wu. China's time zone was 5 hours ahead of Moscow, 7 hours ahead of France, and 8 hours ahead of GMT, the time zone of the United Kingdom. The Doctor visited China several times at various points throughout its history. The third Doctor once spoke in both Cantonese and Hokkien. In his fourth incarnation, the Doctor claimed he could speak all Chinese dialects, including Mandarin and Cantonese. By that point in his life, he hadn't visited China in 400 years. The 11th Doctor wrote a message in Chinese script, and then we have a lot of history. Like, my god, there's a lot. It's gonna take a bit to get through this. It's gonna take quite a bit. Okay. Doctor Who China campaign illustration. Oh no. That sounds bad. That sounds very, very, very bad. Alright. Let's have a look. Let's add this in, and then I will look through the rest of China's page, I guess. China was originally known as the Middle Kingdom. The word China originally meant perfume garden. The word eventually became to be associated with the Middle Kingdom. Circa 5519 BC, monarch abducted Lin Futu and other natives of China. From the 18th to the 12th century BC, the Shang dynasty reigned in China. Prior to the unification of China and the rule of Qin Shi Huang, bands of Chinese dacoity lived in the mountains of Sichuan. They committed acts of banditry on behalf of their god Wen Chiang, an ethnic corruption of Sung Chiang, the god of thieves and criminals. These groups were the ancient forebears to the Tong of the Black Scorpion. Damn it, don't add that. I didn't add it. I just didn't add it. I added Godzilla, but I didn't add the China campaign. Okay. Yay Godzilla, yay Godzilla indeed. The China campaign is good. Is it? Yeah, I need someone else. Okay, good. The G-Man is indeed always good. I like that animation you put in the Discord of Godzilla fighting the Mutos, but it's done in like the Showa style. I thought that was really fun, Mr. M Works. That was a good share. I think you have misunderstood it. I think I have misunderstood it. Because as you wisely said, Xavier, unfortunately the BBC doing good things is hard. Ryan, you've got to pay attention. We've been talking about it a lot. No. Wait, in the Chibnall era, the BBC commissioned an artist to make paintings of the TARDIS in Chinese cultural style. Oh. Oh yeah, I adored that one. I liked seeing a CGI monster made into a suit. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Alright. In 2010 BC, the second Doctor, Jamie McCrimmon, and Victoria Waterfield encountered Qin Shi Huang. I read that part. No, it's a different time. King Shi Huang later died from obesity and heavy metal poisoning from eating powdered jade, mercury, and gold dust is intended to make him live longer. One of the ships used by the Eternals on their conquest for enlightenment was a Chinese crypt crewed by Chinese sailors from the Qin dynasty. The Venetian Marco Polo travelled throughout China, also called Cathay, as the then Emperor Kublai Khan would not permit him to return home. In 1289, the first Doctor Ian Chesterton, Barbara Wright, Susan Foreman travelled hundreds of miles to Kublai's palace in Peking. Polo planned to give the TARDIS to Kublai Khan, but eventually allowed the Doctor and his companions to escape. The journey lasted several months. While closely pursued by guards, Amy Pond and Rory Williams brought Chinese food into the Liao Palace to the TARDIS. Though he was not the first European to visit China, Marco Polo was the first to write a detailed account of his experiences there, and the Travels of Marco Polo was published in about 1300. Did I add the campaign to the wheel? I did add the campaign to the wheel. On 1522, the Fourth Doctor and K9 wanted to stop a Sontaran plot to murder the Emperor for a quartz crystal. In the 17th century, the Manchu dynasty usurped the empire from the Ming dynasty. To resist the Manchus, several old Hung secret societies reformed. They eventually evolved into the Tongs and the Triads, including the Black Scorpion. In the 18th century, the British established a lucrative opium trade in China. In December 1800, riots orchestrated by the Chinese emperor and his chief astrologer broke out in Canton against the British trade concession in an attempt to obstruct from the British opium trade. The second Doctor, Jamie and Zoe, visited China at this time. In 1838, the approach of the Nemesis to Earth possibly heralded the Chinese-British Opium Wars. Prior to the 1860s, China fought Britain and France in the Opium Wars, which led to the fall of the Chinese Empire. In 1865, the first Doctor, Ian Barbara, and Vicky Pallister visited China, where they encountered the Wong Kai-ying and Wong Fei-hung, who helped them defeat the Mandragora Helix. PayPal just removed Steam? Why? Captain Jack Harkness was active in China during the Boxer Rebellion, where he worked with explosives. The first Doctor and his granddaughter Susan Foreman visited Peking during the rebellion and used smoke bombs to escape. In 1911, Sun Yat-sen led an alliance of nationalist warlords in a revolution which overthrew the boy Emperor Pu Yi. The alliance formed into the Kuomintang, which became the governing party of China. Chiang Kai-shek became leader of the Kuomintang and made efforts to suppress the growing communist movement in China fostered by the USSR in the north. These communists were successfully driven to the mountains of north and central China bordering Mongolia. However, unable to dislodge them further, the struggle dissolved into a stalemate. Okay, in 1932, the Chinese and Japanese clashed in Shanghai. The intervention of Western powers seeking to protect their trade centers in the city diffused the situation. In 1933, the Seventh Doctor and Edward Granger went on a mission to occupied Manchuria to save Meiling from the Zhongma fortress. Fighting occurred between the Chinese and Japanese forces in 1936. In July 1937, the Japanese army, which agitated for further expansion into China beyond Manchuria, engineered a fight against the Chinese forces at Marco Polo Bridge. This sparked war between the two nations. Shortly after, the Japanese began launching air raids against Shanghai, and KMT troops trains moving Chinese soldiers to the front lines in Shandong. In August 1937, the Fourth Doctor and Romana first visited China, where Xian Ko was attempting to prevent the death of Magnus Greel. The Japanese eventually moved into Shanghai. Why are they banned from using Steam, Najawin? Can you explain that? Why is this happening? Can you, like, give me some context? Because that sounds pretty fucking awful. I mean, like, I get that it's fine for white people countries, but, like, what about the rest of the world? Like, why is it banned? What's going on? Okay. This is very boring. I'm going to do that. Not yet clear. Oh! Alright, let's take a look. Let's spin the wheel.
Yeah, baby.
What's it gonna be? The Map and the Spider. Short story. Short story. We did this. Fuck. Alright. Well, I guess I'll go back and spin again. It seemed familiar. It does. It does. It does. Alright. Let's have a look. Arachnids in the UK reference? Very possibly. We can only hope. Alright.
Yeah, baby.
Dominoes! Where are my fucking dominoes at? Where are my fucking dominoes? That's what I want to know. Where are my dominoes? I want my fucking dominoes right now. Alright. By the 21st century, there existed a restaurant chain whose logo resembled a blue and red domino with 3 dots. Its name pronounced ended with nose. In September 2018, a branch of the restaurant was located in the charity shop in Sheffield, which the 13th Doctor brought clothes from. In late 2023, a branch was located in London. It was near the location where the toy maker danced with the 14th Doctor. While unnamed in other stories, the business is the American pizza restaurant chain Domino's in The Woman Who Fell to Earth. The nose of the name can be partially seen. On 25th of November 2023, though, before the remember, who cares? The pizza place or the game? The pizza place. I want pizza.
Yeah, baby.
Obviously, I want pizza. Now! Domino's, who cares? I like Domino's. Charlotte Pollard loved condensed milk. Okay, back to the wheel.
Yeah, baby.
Canada! Let's see what it has to say about Canada. You know, I hear they have a very, very good trade in beaver pelts. Alright. Canada was a nation in North America in its northern and western hemispheres of Earth, in provinces and territories. Its capital city was Ottawa. It was also home to the metropolitan city of Toronto. Nova Scotia, named for Old Scotia, was located in Canada. Around 68 to 65 million BCE, the Ankylosaurus was found in North America, primarily in what would be Montana, Wyoming, the western USA, and Alberta, Canada. The Vikings landed in Canada. Toronto isn't real. Yes, it fucking is. As a British colony, Canada was brought into World War I against Germany in 1914. According to one account, Iris Wildtime's Celestial Omnibus had a space-time link to a Canadian lake in 1924, which she used to get cold and fresh water. In an alternate timeline in which Germany won World War II, the British government went into exile in Canada. In 1979, Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart and a team from the British Division of Unit travelled to Canada where they investigated sentient electricity pylons, which were stalking the Canadian countryside. Why are you talking shit about Canadians? Why? Why are you doing that? It's not a good idea. Like half the rules in the Geneva Convention came from things Canada did. Is that true? That wasn't a shit talk. It seemed like one. You said Toronto wasn't real, and then you started bringing up World War II stuff. Kinda seemed like it. Alright. Following the Dummy Massacre, Sean Corey reported to the conspiracy website Who is Doctor Who that the dummies have made it to Canada. By 2007, H.C. Clements had an office in Canada. In 2008, the Canadian Space Agency was part of a teleconference on the Atraxi crisis. In 2009, the provinces and territories of Canada were among the nations which agreed to let John Frobisher speak on their behalf to the 456. In 2012, Alistair Griffin was born in Canada. Griffin later became an exceptionally respected scientist, renowned for his work in robotics, particularly for his revolutionary invention, the Thought Matrix, which allowed human-created robots to think for themselves. He was also one of a group of scientists which created a system to call the Earth. This resulted in the disastrous Great Cataclysm. He met K9 Mark II in 2050. He had many adventures, including defeating a Corvan invasion. By 2018, the Great Canadian Wheat Plains had become, according to Ramon Salamander, the main source of grain for Earth. In 2040, Canada held a national referendum on whether to merge their military with that of the United States. Why? Why do the Doctor Who writers have such a fucking problem? Why? What is this beef? Where is this beef coming from? At some point before 2015, Canada returned to British... Oh my god! British security organisation The Department operated there when a Corvan spacecraft carrying a space-time manipulator crashed into the frozen wastelands of Canada. The manipulator was salvaged by the Department. In 2054, the Montana Republican militia used thermocistron bombs in an attempt to take over Canada. Sergeant Cortez of UNISIC met the 8th Doctor there. During the 2150s Dalek invasion of Earth, some American citizens were evacuated to Canada. At some point, parts of Canada became wasteland with giant residential towers, including Toronto Tower, erected in centres such as Toronto, Ontario. A cougar from Canada was an object in the game Time-Space Scavenger Hunt, played by the 12th Doctor and Miss Chief. The 2nd Doctor compared a planet inhabited by saber-toothed gorillas to Canada. Why? Today I learned that the BBC don't like Canada. Yeah, I know, I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Alright, let's spin the wheel.
Yeah, baby.
The binary code universe. What's this? Okay. Like the stream if you hate Canada. I like Canada. Some of my best friends are Canadians. I got nothing against Canada. Alright. One parallel universe appeared to be comprised of binary code. That's a quick article. We're done. Alright. Let's go back to the wheel.
Yeah, baby.
Come die with me! Okay. Let's see. Come Die With Me was the second story in the audio anthology You Are the Doctor and Other Stories, which comprised of the 207th release in Big Finish's monthly range. It was written by Jamie Anderson and featured Sylvester McCoy as the 7th Doctor and Sophie Aldred as Ace. A spooky old house, a body in the library, a killer on the loose. The Doctor accepts the challenge laid down by the sinister Mr. Norris to solve a murder mystery that's defeated 1868 of the greatest intellects in the universe and counting. I know, Naja, why are you starting beef with whole countries? My goodness. Through the futuristic light, it gives away its true age, and the pair hear a strange noise that sounds like a scream, and they dash out of the drawing room to investigate. Ace opens the door to a library and notices a strange lectern-like object in its center, but the Doctor strongly warns her against entering. Ace walks through a different door instead into the parlor, and the two of them overhear a laugh and a conversation from the next room. Ace leaves to investigate the other rooms while the Doctor is greeted by Mr. Norris and his other guest, Mr. Morecambe, who have apparently been expecting him and explain that the Doctor is here to play a murder mystery game. This is long and boring. This is very long and boring. Alright, let's go for a different one.
Yeah, baby.
Department of Construction! Alright, let's take a look. Let's take a look. There is no page for the Department of Construction. This is a Jenny page? Ah, fuck. Okay. That explains it.
Yeah, baby.
Grimbold! Najawin, I am curious, like, what's an exceptionally well-run country in your opinion? Because if there's an exceptionally bad, there has to be an exceptionally well. And I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just curious. What would you argue is, like, a good country to live in? What's exceptionally good? You know what I mean? Denmark? Denmark is a solid choice. I would have gone Denmark as well. Alright, let's see. Why Grimbold? Why not Grimwig? Okay. Grimbold was a planet in the Western Galactic Arm. It was the home planet of Duckadoo. It was one of the participating planets of the 803rd Interstellar Song Contest. There we go. Alright, let's spin the wheel again. Let's go again.
Yeah, baby.
Gawain! Alright. The UK is not one country, that's true. That is very true. That is 100% true. That's what it wants you to think. Well, no, not really, because, like, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales have all been the victims of English colonialism. In fact, Ireland was the victim of English colonialism to the point where, like, their entire mythology and pantheon of gods was destroyed and turned into Christian propaganda and, like, mollified. And now, if you are Irish, it's very difficult to find a connection with, like, the earliest roots of your culture because so much of it has been destroyed. And that's before we get into, like, the famine. That's before we get into, like, the conquests of Scotland and people being forced into servitude to fight for, like, English royalty and shit. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with the idea that the UK is one country. I think it's 4 countries and one of them bullies the others into going along with shit. I don't think that's a fair assessment at all, to be honest. Alright, let's see. Okay, let's spin the wheel again. Oh, we were on Gawain. We already did it, didn't we? No, we didn't do Gawain, we did Grimbold. Alright, Gawain. Let's talk about Gawain. Sir Gawain was a knight of the Round Table, and by one account, King Arthur's own nephew. By another account, Sir Gawain was Rory Williams as an Orton. He was mistakenly given this name during the quest for the glowing knight. To avoid a war, England became the very people it swore to destroy, the English. Lady Ragnar, a repulsive woman in appearance and in manners, on their wedding night it surfaced that she had actually been under a curse, powered by a drashar of the Druze, which made her repulsive until the man agreed to marry her for noble reasons, after which she could choose to regain her true appearance either at night with her husband, in her husband, at the cost of being ugly in the daylight, or the reverse. She offered Gawain the choice, but he in turn told that it should be her decision alone. The abdication of husbandly sovereignty broke the second half of the curse and allowed Ragnar to remain her true self permanently. To Donna Noble's disappointment, however, there were limits to Gawain's surprisingly progressive views on female empowerment, as demonstrated when he quite willingly went along with a mob movement to burn Donna as a witch, with Gawain himself very nearly lighting the pyre until the 10th Doctor, as Merlin, put an end to the attempted execution. Gawain, alongside Bedivere, Agravain, and Galahad, was one of 4 knights whom Merlin once sent on a 4-day journey to slay the Morcaliac in its cave, acting as the leader for the expedition. Gawain heavily reprimanded Agravain when the latter elected to cause a rock slide that trapped the beast in its cave but did not slay it. According to legend, Gawain would eventually be killed by Lancelot. Alright, let's go back to the wheel.
Yeah, baby.
This is probably going to be the last one for the night, lads. Deja vu! We've already done this a million times. Alright, let's try that again. Doctor in distress. That's me.
Yeah, baby.
Can we do Eternal Return? Imagine if it landed on that. Kate Winslet. We're doing the Kate Winslet one. Yeah, you do, Paige. Angie Kapoor remarked that any references to Kate Winslet will be punishable by death after she stated that she would have liked to have run to the bow of the yacht she was on with her arms outstretched. Kate Winslet is an English actor. The mention of her in The Infinity Race is a specific reference to the 1997 film Titanic, in which Winslet's character Rose DeWitt Bukater famously did the same at the Titanic's bow. Winslet was the first choice to play River Song before Alex Kingston was cast. It's a good thing that didn't fucking happen. They would have never fucking gotten her back in a million years. In Doctor Who magazine's You Are Not Alone, the future Neil Harris, in an email to himself in 2004, acknowledges a rumour that Kate Winslet will be appearing in the season 1 finale. In a later email, future Neil from 2010 reports that the new series will have 2 superb leads in Kate Winslet, a fantastic Doctor, and Bill Patterson, the best Kate I we've ever had. In the acknowledgement of the Krillitane store, author Christopher Cooper referenced Kate Winslet once crying at an awards ceremony. Alright. As promised, that is the end of the stream. I will be back later on doing FF7 Remake, so please feel free to join me on that wonderful journey. And until then, I've been your wonderful host. Bye!